G'day fellas, welcome to a casted game between Kaiserklein, who's playing on the Russians in the north of the map, and his opponent, who's playing the Portuguese in the south of the map, Age of Killer. Now both of these players are incredibly good players. At the moment Kaiserklein sits at rank 3 on the ladder, sorry, rank 2 on the ladder, and Age of Killer I think sitting at about rank 9 at the moment, so these players are top echelon players, absolute top of the pops. We see Kaiser doing a little bit of early macro, shooting down 2 bison already, getting his villagers over onto it, so very nice micro. We'll take a look at what treasures we've got on this map. Now, obviously, we are playing on the map, which is Mexico. Mexico is famous for its 4 trading posts and its brutal desert. We'll have a look at the treasures. So we've got 305 coin. We've got a nearly mature coyote pup. A couple of in-base treasures for Age of Killer, who we will be calling Breeze sometimes. If you do hear us call him Breeze, that is because that is one of the other names that he goes by. Now going for a trading post at the north of the map. It looks like the explorers are going to cross. Now, I think that that Kaiserklein has realized that he might potentially want to be putting down a trading post here, so he's kind of just sticking to him. Kaiserklein is infamous for doing this. Okay, this is actually called the Kaiserklein because of Kaiserklein doing this all the time. So what does he do? He sticks on his opponent's explorer whenever he's got a HP advantage. Okay, so we saw that the HP advantage existed for about 20 HP, but that's all you need. And then what he does is he forces his opponent to go back to base. He forces them. He says, you go back to base. Always. He won't just give it up. He will constantly follow the enemy's explorer until they go back to base. And that is exactly what it looks like is going to happen here. He's getting a lot of free HP on the explorer of Age of Killer. Age of Killer, obviously very comfortable on the Portuguese. This is one of his main squeeze civilizations. He's almost, I'd say, infamous just because he advocates for the buff of the Portuguese, despite being top 10 with the Portuguese and considered by many to be one of the best Swedish players and best Portuguese players in the game. So we take a look and see what the first card is. We've got a 1v1 deck for Kaiserklein, very, very standard deck. I think this is my deck. He's definitely copied this deck from me and not the other way around. So going with Distributivism as the first card. Still sending in, or still chasing in that enemy explorer, getting in as much damage as he can on the enemy explorer, trying to free himself, Breezes, but unfortunately not being able to do it. We see him just going in for a couple hits and then walking away, so he's trying to free himself. Town center, with we've got 6 vills inside it, and Kaiserklein just moving around the north of the town center. The villagers now evacuating the town center. And we see Kaiserklein moving out over towards the west now, spotting his enemy on this treasure. And look, you can see how aggressive he is, coming in underneath the town center once again, moving in and just taking out more pot shots on this explorer. The explorer getting stuck on some of the villagers here and still getting more shots in. Explorer now running away because there's 7 villagers inside the town center, managing to walk away. He's got 89 HP, so Kaiserklein really playing with fire at this point in time, but idling his opponent, and that's it. That's exactly what he was aiming for while managing to get some damage out onto that explorer. He knows how important it is to get this explorer down, because one of the things that Portugal loves to do on this map is take advanced trading posts. So we'll take a look at the deck of Age of Killer. We do see that he has gone for a deck called TP. He's got advanced trading posts, which he's already sent in. He's also got Spice Trade in here, as well as Refrigeration, Economic cards, as well as 5 Age 4 cards that he's got as well. We've got Heavy Fortifications in the 4th Age, as well as 2 Heavy Cannons and a Gunpowder Infantry card. Now his Age of Killer's Explorer is just somewhat sitting idly, saying, you know what, if we leave from here, we're going to get killed by Kaiserklein, so we're just going to stay in our base, and that's exactly what he does. So we'll take a look back at Kaiserklein. So Kaiserklein now coming back for this nearly mature Coyote Pup. We did mention this earlier in the game. We'll take a look at the other treasures that are out on the map. To the north, we've got a Trapped Settler. We've got 70 XP. We've also got a Human Inca that can be taken. We've got that 305 coin that we mentioned earlier, and we've also got a Native American Warrior. So 2 Native American Warriors out on the map, a Settler to take, as well as 305 coins. So some good treasures out here, that is for sure. Kaiserklein now beginning to move forward with a couple of forward villages. So going to be looking to secure the left side of the map. Now he knows that his opponent is over on the right-hand side of the map, so I suspect that instead of forwarding over here, he's probably just gone, I'm going to forward on this side just to try and keep this safe. Maybe provide himself a little bit more line of sight, aware that any villagers could potentially be moving up and trying to secure trading posts. His opponent has gone ATP, so he's going to be looking to secure maximum trade posts. We see that Kaiserklein is patrolling. You can see the way that he's patrolling between these 2 trading posts and just making sure that the enemy explorer isn't on these, isn't building any trading posts. So really doing a good job of that. We see that he's now moving into the line of sight of his opponent, and we spot a villager. Kaiserklein spots it as well. You see him straight away just going up there. He's hasn't put his explorer into melee just yet, but he's going to be getting it. He gets the snare now on the villager. Villager now going to be snared as it walks back to the the base of Age of Killer. And dropping down a wall, we've got one wall going down and a second wall going down. Breeze being so cute, dropping down those walls immediately like that. We actually see Kaiserklein now going to siege down the low HP wall and taking the wall down, standing on top of the wall. So Breeze actually put down those 2 wall segments so that Kaiserklein wasn't going to be able to block them. And not only does he managed to burn it down, but then he blocks it on top of that. So being very, very cheeky. Now we see Age of Killer moving back to try and get this wall up again. Just doing a couple of little sneaky walls. Now, these walls aren't designed to stop the opponent. They're just designed to delay them, force the opponent's, Strelets or Cossacks to get caught on here. Hopefully, you've got like one Cossack that gets caught. It gets delayed ever so slightly. And now we do see a town center going down for Age of Killer. Very late age up from Age of Killer. I'm not sure if he only just got up, so really, really late age up. But despite that, behind that, we actually see that he's getting all of the trading posts, well, at least 3 of the trading posts now, also sending in 700 wood from the home city, dropping down a stable as well. So this is his response. We'll see what he sends as his next shipment. Probably 700 coin is going to be coming in after this. Going to be enabling him to build and up those hussars. The town center, having been delayed from the late age up, is now under siege by the 5 Cossacks, and we can see the Strelets are beginning to come in from Kaiserklein as well. I'm curious if we're going to see some sort of toxic semi-FF play out of him, or whether we're just going to see some more stable Age 2 play. The Strelets begin to burn down the town center. We've got 9 villages inside the town center of Age of Killer, and 3 trading posts up. He's now moving to take the 4th trading post. You can see the arc that he's taking as well, being very careful. And we actually see that Kaiserklein behind this is going for... Kaiserklein, you got to be so careful, man. Your Explorer's on 3 health. Your Explorer's on 3 health, mate. You got to be real careful with that. And now we've got Strelets sieging down the town center. Really not achieving a lot, though. This town center was probably going to take another 17 minutes to burn down with these Strelets attacking it. Strelets now beginning to idle the villages of Age of Killer. Now, Kaiserklein doesn't actually see that these trading posts have been taken yet. He would see on his UI that the opponent has taken 3 trading posts. Now also training some villagers behind this. We'll take a look and see what upgrades Kaiserklein's got. So he's got hunting dogs. He doesn't have his steel traps, though. He doesn't have placer mines. He doesn't have any villagers on wood, so we can't tell if he's got gang sword just yet. But the units keep trickling in, so now the 6 Strelets coming in, just looking to idle at this point, really not doing a lot of damage. We can see that he's not healing up this town center just yet. I don't think he's particularly scared of losing this town center. It's not a large problem for him to be under threat like this. He's very capably able to deal with it. We don't have the colonial militia being sent in, or the town militia being sent in from the home city, but we do actually have it in on the way. So town militia now coming in. This is going to be increasing the attack of both of these town centers, and the wall begins to get sieged down now. 4 trading posts are up for the Portuguese player. Now, look, we don't actually have any upgrades in from the trading post, so we don't have that. The typical upgrade that we do see is this stagecoach. We don't have that coming in just yet. I'm curious what these villagers are collecting at. These villagers don't even have their hunting dogs by the looks of it. These are just standard. So hunting dogs actually coming in right now, as I mentioned that. A villager getting trained as well. So doing a pretty good job idling. If we do a quick stock take, we see 18 villagers up against 23 villagers. But keep in mind that's 18 villagers plus 4 trading posts that have got stagecoach coming in now. So each of these trading posts represents about a 4 villager average. It depends on which resource you are collecting. But assuming that you're collecting wood or coin, it's going to be closer to 4 villagers than it is to 3. So a very decent amount of economy that he's going to be having, close to 35 villagers here. So not too bad at all. We'll take a look at Kaiserklein. We'll see what he's up to. He's dropping down that 2nd blockhouse, having sent in that 700 wood as his 3rd card in the second age, or his 2nd card in the second age, rather. Also dropping down a stable as well, so a potential timing that we're going to see from him. And now the Explorer's got to be very careful not to die here. Explorer down to 78 hit points. Finally going to be able to take down this treasure, managing to survive with about 51 hit points. The Settler is going to be made his. We'll have a look at... I actually just got achievement. I just got the hero achievement, my hero. So I think that's for rescuing the Settler. For whatever reason, it also works in replays. So there you go. I've got that one. And now we've got the Explorer for the Portuguese player, just sitting up on the north side. I think he's just trying to spot out any potential treasures that he can find. Do we have any more? There's nothing else on the north side. And now we've got all of the trading posts are now fully upgraded. They've all got their crates of food coming in. Setting in spice trade as well. So really focusing on his economy here. Going to be getting sieged down by the musketeer mass. So this is the Kaiserklein musket mass. Now keep in mind, these muskets are muskets from Russia, and Russian muskets are lower stats than normal musketeers, so they're not as strong. We see that Kaiserklein is moving back individual musketeers as they get focused down by the trading post of his opponent. So we can see that the trading post has got an attack of 25, takes out the first musketeer. Obviously, he didn't pull that one back because it was getting attacked by the Explorer of the Portugal player, or the Portuguese player, rather. But we see him pulling back that Musketeer just before it dies, just to keep it alive, so it's got that extra DPS for the duration. So very, very nice micro. Some Hussars now in the back line. We've got Hussars that are actually attacking in the base of Kaiserklein now. So we've got Breeze doing a little bit of a raid. We've got more Hussars coming out. Now, keep in mind, he has sent through his... he's got hunting dogs, as well as... I think he's also got steel traps, and on top of that, he's also got his spice trade as well. So really focusing on the second age here. A huge amount of resources coming in from those hunts. And looking really good, honestly. There's so many hunts under his town center right now. There's 1 hunt, 2 hunts, 3 hunts, 4 hunts underneath these town centers. So really, really nice micro, making sure that he gets all of those hunts in underneath the town center. A couple villages up to the north-hand side of the map as well. Just finding villages or trying to find as many units as he can possibly. We take a look at the villager count right now. We've got 27 villages, 28 villages rather, and 4 stagecoach, or rather 3 stagecoach trading posts against Kaiserklein, who's on 28 villages, so that's 28 versus 28, and a single stagecoach trading post for Kaiserklein that's going to be up now. Kaiserklein probably going to be moving out, taking out this potential trading post. He's going to have spotted from the trading post, or from the stagecoach route, and going to be cleaning up the Hussars on the backline underneath his town center. So it could be, I definitely think it would be wise at this point, maybe putting a few villages in this town center, just getting off some nice shots on these Portuguese Hussars, but he's not deeming it necessary. He's got the Musketeers in hand combat, and they're going to be able to deal with the Hussars effectively. Looks like he's going to do his best to try and take out the remaining Cossack, but definitely walking away with his tail between his legs at this point. Doing a pretty good job of cleaning that up, Kaiserklein is. So we take a look at Kaiserklein. He's just idling at the moment, just keeping a few Musketeers, a couple just on top of his villages out here, a little bit further away. So instead of building this second blockhouse at the front, an option was that he could have built it back here and kept them safe. That would have given you a lot more leverage with these Musketeers. You could have placed them over here, but I guess he's preempting an eventual attack over at this forward base. We have a look at the scores. Kaiserklein is playing the Russians, which typically underscores. And now we've got him pulling ahead quite significantly. Well, I wouldn't say quite significantly. Well, actually, no, I would say quite significantly. More than 1,000 points at this point. So very decent from him. Also pulling ahead, going to be taking down this trading post. We'll have a look at Age of Killer and see what he's got going on. He's got a 3rd age going up. So going up with the Exiled Prince, 33 villages. So not too bad at all. We'll have a look at what shipments he's got access to. He does have access to those Mamelukes in the 3rd age. Going to be a very decent card for him to be sending. Now reaching the 3rd age, dropping down that 3rd town center. Where's it going to go? Going to be looking like it moves out towards the right-hand side of the map. He knows that his opponent's army is over on the left-hand side of the map, so he moves out over to the right. We can actually see the town center going down very aggressively from Age of Killer. So this is going out to the right side of the map. We take a look. There's absolutely no units out here whatsoever for Kaiserklein. So this town center is pretty much going to be able to get up scot-free. And he knows that the stagecoach isn't going to be passing and providing line of sight on this covered wagon, because he actually spotted go past him. So he knows that the stagecoach is over here. He can walk safely across the trading line, and it's not going to get spotted out. So this town center is going to be providing a huge amount of line of sight, a huge amount of map control, access to hunts, access to a safe hunting location here underneath this town center, and stealing away some hunts from Kaiserklein. But by the same token, I suspect that we're going to see Kaiserklein move towards this part of the map as well and expand over that way eventually if it gets to that point. So now we take a look at Age of Killer. He's training those Hussars. He's got 9 Hussars out on the field at the moment, a couple more going for a raid here. And they've been spotted. We're watching from Age of Killer's perspective, but they have actually been spotted by Kaiserklein. Kaiserklein spotting these with his Cossacks. The muskets are now moving into position. This town center is not long for this world. It is in the final stage of building, but Kaiserklein, instead of doing a good siege, is doing what's called a circle siege. This isn't the best thing to be doing. You want to move all your muskets in right underneath the town center like that, and then begin sieging, but it's not even going to matter. This town center, I don't even think it's going to get up. 186 XP going over to Kaiserklein. Kaiserklein now hitting the 3rd age as well. He's got a couple of idols at the moment, 12 villages in the town center, most likely villages that were on the copper mine. They are. We can see that they're walking back towards the copper mine. 2 shipments available, so probably going to be sending in those cavalry archers, I would suspect, would be the first thing that he sends through. His opponent's Hussars are now veteran Hussars. We've got muskets that are under attack over on the left-hand side. He's got to be very careful with these villagers, losing 2 villages. 3rd villager going down. 4th villager potentially going to be going down as well. Kaiserklein in a little bit of a difficult spot. 4th villager does indeed go down. 5 cavalry archers is what we see coming in, and they're going to be able to loop up and connect up with these musketeers. So we see that Breeze is moving his musketeers over towards the north side now, sending in 9 muskets of his own, It looks like the muskets aren't going to be able to get a snare off. Actually, they do. They managed to get a snare, a huge connection, though. It looked about, like, what was that? Close to 300 units right there. So a pretty decent connection. And still, we see the Cossacks snaring. So Kaiserklein doing a great job, managing to clear up about 4 or 5 hussars in that mass or in that fight, but losing out a fair bit of his own units, unfortunately. And now we've got more villages getting found by Age of Killer. Kaiserklein's villages, he's got 14 villages, and once again we go back to the fact that this blockhouse has been built on the front line instead of being built on the back line. But now we've got the cavalry archers moving into position. Cavalry archers are going to have a difficult time keeping up with these units. We see them taking off their shots. Keep in mind the speed of the cavalry archers, 6.75 against the speed of the hussar, which is also 6.75. So cavalry archers doing great. We've got veteran musketeers that are in queue. So we've got a little bit of an Age 2 composition here. Musket Huss for Age of Killer up against Kaiserklein, who's doing a bit more of an Age 3 composition. He's going Strelet, or I take that back. He's going veteran musket with cavalry archer and sending in the 2 falconets. So I definitely like the timing of Kaiserklein's window. But despite that, we see that Kaiserklein has fallen behind significantly in score. So Age of Killer has really just overtaken him and is down about 2k score now, Kaiserklein is. And we'll take a look and see. The 2 falconets are going to come in, being shipped to the forward outpost, or forward blockhouse, undoubtedly. There they are coming in now. We'll see how he reacts with it, what his plan is going to be. Running into a wall, which is very typical of Age of Killer. Age of Killer is infamous for the walls that he puts up in the game, and that's exactly what we see. This town center was never healed up from earlier in the game, and we see the villagers moving into the back town center. It looks like they might move into the front town center. Probably going to be seeing a colonial militia pop from here, so seeing a big batch of units potentially coming out here before the town center goes down. He's going to have to be doing a little bit of resource allocation, but behind this, we've got a bit of a base trade now. Age of Killer with the 14 muskets and the 10 veteran hussars heading towards the base of Kaiserklein. All of the villagers are out over here on the left-hand side, and now we've got the big call coming in, the colonial militia. Let's take a look. They head towards the falconets. It looks like they're not going to be able to make it, but 500 HP left on this town center. Town center does go down. 200 XP going over to Kaiserklein, but we've got a little bit of a fight now on the back lines. The cavalry archers have moved back, so these cavalry archers are no longer at the front. Organ guns coming out as well. The fight continues to push forward. We've got the villagers that are managing to make it towards the front line. He wants to keep them safe, down to 77 villagers, but the organ guns on the front line are just burning down the house. We've got the musketeers of the Russian player that move forward, taking out the first organ gun. The second organ gun looks like it's probably not long for the world. Almost going down. 6 HP. It gets off one final volley. Huge batch of militiamen getting called out as well. Musketeers fighting against cavalry archers. Cavalry archers fighting against hussars. Musketeers fighting against cavalry archers. 2 organ guns getting sent from the home city. A lot of action in this game. 15 militiamen taking away the remaining health of the musketeers. And we've got more falconets. Actually, no, these are the same falconets from before. Kaiserklein preemptively pulling them back, knowing that the militiamen are here, but he's going to be in a difficult spot because these militiamen, this is a big batch of militiamen. 2 hussars now moving on top. They're going to manage to connect with the falconet. Falconet isn't going to be able to be pulled away in time. The second falconet looks like it's going to be able to be defended. So a single falconet now remains. We've got a 5 musk, very toxic GUA raid heading up to the north-hand side of the map, just burning down that market. A couple more musketeers on the trading post as well. And finally, we see a town center going up in this northern region, or this western region, which is going to be able to protect these villagers. We could have seen a blockhouse a little bit earlier, but we do see a town center instead. Have a look what shipments we've got access to. We could see 6 oprichniks, or oprichniks, I think they're pronounced. It's a difficult word for me to pronounce. I'm not Russian. I pronounce them oprichnik for my entire life. We see the oprichniks now coming in. So oprichniks are a great choice here. I'd love to see just an oprichnik shipment just right over here would be perfect. And we see a whole bunch of muskets going down to the organ guns. But the organ guns have made a bit of a mistake. They've moved far forward underneath 2 blockhouses, and these guys are focusing down the organ gun. Look how much damage it's doing. Villagers moving out. Oh, he's got to be careful of these villagers. They're low HP villagers. Getting some melee shots now on the villager. Organ guns are going to be focusing down, but they don't get it in time. Organ guns focusing down the veteran cavalry archers. We've got 5 more hussars now pushing in as well. So a little bit of a scuffle coming out. The falconet on the back line looking to move into position, try and get shots off on the organ gun, but it's not going to be long for the world because the hussars are now on top of it, going down instantly. The veteran cavalry archers, now they've got 30% melee resist, but still, you don't want to be fighting them the same way that you're fighting. And now the villagers getting in on the action. 6 oprichniks popping out as well. These oprichniks are going to be distracting the hussar of Age of Killer. And now we've finally got this town center going up just in time. The Explorer is managing to survive. Kaiserklein losing his Explorer. We take a look at Age of Killer's perspective. We see he's got 8 Cassadors coming in behind this. The 4 veteran musketeers still burning down this town center, or this market. A whole bunch of action over on the left-hand side now. Looks like Kaiserklein is going to be able to clean this up, but we see that Age of Killers actually pulled ahead significantly in regard to economy, up a 5k score lead now at this point. 55 villages compared to Kaiserklein, who's only on 33 with 22 idols. So a big mass for Kaiserklein of idle villagers. Never like to see that, unfortunately. 8 casts now finally coming out. These 2 blockhouses getting a lot of work in, doing a lot of damage. Breeze making Portugal look like an overpowered civilization at this point. I tell you what, despite losing that town center over here on the right-hand side, despite losing a lot of units in the early game, losing a lot of villages as well, he's managed to pull it out. We've got the Minutemen now coming out for Kaiserklein. A little last-ditch effort, it looks like. We've got the 17 Strela batch getting sent to the forward blockhouse. He's going to have a difficult time with these veteran hussars, and now we've got the cavalry archers that are going to get cleaned up by the veteran hussars, connecting now. We need to see Kalmux. We need to see Manchu from him. He's not going to be able to defend this otherwise, because these veteran hussars... This Civ is just so busted on ATP maps. Kaiserklein coming out with the big excuse at the end of the big game, because the big Age of Killer takes away the big victory for this one. Congratulations to Age of Killer. Very well played. And incredibly difficult map for Kaiserklein to be able to win on this map. You know, we saw that Breeze, despite holding 2 trading posts for the majority of that game, because Kaiserklein took 2 away from him, was still able to keep up on economy. He sent in that spice trade, which meant that his economy, his villagers were just gathering food in an absolute overtime, and that's exactly what we see. 1.3 food a second. So very, very nice play from Age of Killer. Unfortunate that Kaiserklein wasn't able to take out the victory. We'll have a look at the resources gathered. You can just see that Kaiserklein getting idled there throughout large periods of that game and just nowhere near able to keep up with his opponent. We'll have a look at villager population as well. Breeze doing a wonderful job, or Age of Killer doing a wonderful job of just getting ahead of Kaiserklein. Look at these beautiful raids that come in as well, taking him down from 36 villages at his peak, down to 35, then down to 34, then down to 28, continuing to lose more villagers throughout the game, so really just putting on quite a clinic there. And we'll take a look at the military unit population just before we close this one out, and we see that Kaiserklein drastically losing a larger mass than his opponent. Now, obviously, playing Russia, your units are typically weaker, less population... what's the word? Less population effective. But yeah, very, 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 very nice play from Age of Killer. Fellas, I hope that you've enjoyed this game. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.